Well, howdy everyone. This is Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. Well, we got a great tale for you today. This is called Swamp Cars. Boy, this was something else. So a buddy of mine called, and he inherited 2,000 acres up in the North Carolina boondocks, and he was out with walking his dog one day on this property that he inherited, and his dog ran off, and he heard some splashing and barking and stuff. And he went and followed the dog, and it turns out there was this massive pond. I mean, he said that, the pond was, he couldn't even see to the other side of it. So he was out there just hanging out on the side. Look at that 69 Charger. Totally untouched. Rough, but totally untouched. It's a 318 car. Oh, my goodness. Right there. That was a 1970 446 pack triple black CUDA with the original block inside of it. There's a nice soprano window right there. So anyways, he was throwing some rocks, skipping some rocks, and he heard a ting. And he climbed up a tree, and he looked down. It turned out that there was all these cars sunk inside this swamp. This car right here, a tree fell on top of that car, 70 Challenger. So he ended up calling me. I went out there, and good Lord, that's a 70 Cornet, I think it is, 69 Cornet. I ended up spending a month living in the bush, pulling all these cars up. 69 and a half lift-off hood, six-pack cars, all over the place. There were some Hemi Chargers. That was a Hemi Charger. Rough, but there. Turned out back in the day, his uncle owned a towing company. And when these cars were sitting on the side of the road, he would haul them. And for some reason, he'd bring them back into this swamp. There was a road that went back there. Look at that car right there, 440 GTX. But it was crazy. I actually brought in some people. I had snipers sitting in trees while I went down with scuba gear to hook up some of these cars and bring them out. And these snipers were basically, one shot past my head meant that there was a gator around me. Two shot meant come up, they're too close. It's a 70 Charger 440 RT right there. That car was rough. You know why that car was so rough? Because it was sitting out in the middle of a cow pasture. It was on the edge of the cow pasture right there, and the cows had kicked the hell out of that car. But it was what it was. It was completely untouched. It was rough. You get into those questions on, do I really save this thing? Like, it was a real 440 RT car, 70 Charger. So these swamp cars, it's a hell of a story. It was scary being down there hooking up these cars, but I pulled so many cars out of the swamp, and I had a couple tanks built, so I drop them into the water, neutralize the rust and stuff since they've been in the water for 30 years. And I spent, I think it was a month and a half, 2 months at least out there, and it was a hell of an experience. There were just cars all over the place. He had no idea this stuff was on the property. It was just absolutely insane what was on this property. I mean, some of these cars were rough, but parts have been stripped off of them over the years, but it was just crazy, with the stuff that was out there. It was really cool to be a part of this. I mean, this guy inherited this property. He had no idea his uncle had done all this stuff. Look at how rough these cars are, right? They're pretty complete, but they're rough. 70 Duster right there. He had no idea this building was even on his property, little overhang building. Wow, it was just crazy, His uncle, I guess, just pulled these cars off the side of the road and over the years collected them. His uncle wasn't like a hermit. That's a 69 Charger RT right there, just sitting there. No big deal. 69 Charger RT, just sitting there. The Barracuda. Back in the day when they did their own pin striping and stuff. Side stripes. Look at that. 70 Challenger RT. Just sitting in the middle of a damn field. There's that 1970 446 pack triple black CUDA block in the trunk. Now, these cars right here, these three cars, this was a little bit outside of the swamp thing. I hadn't quite gone home yet. Look at that bad boy. That was my favorite car. Absolute favorite car. I brought that to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Carlisle thing, and I had that thing sitting on the back of my trailer and sold it in like an hour. That right there's a 70 Charger, no big deal. Except for when I started investigating it and looking inside the trunk, and then I'm like, is that Panther pink paint? That's the original Panther Pink paint. Got to look at the fender tag. 1970 Charger. I believe it was a 383 car. Super solid. Straight as can be. Everything was good. And it was an original Panther Pink car. I mean, the guy knew that he had a nice Charger, but I don't remember if he knew it was a Panther Pink car. Look at how solid that car is. Well, that car is rough. And I see it is rough. Look at those sail panels. That's where all of our time and money goes, is fixing those sail panels. Those things were solid as can be. Bang, boom. Look, even the quarters are good on this car. Straight as an arrow down the side of that car. Like I said, you can see this car's rough. But boy, that car was solid. I picked up all three cars. Just because they were what they were. Just straight car. But that petty blue car there, no, it wasn't an original petty blue car. Somebody painted that car a long time ago, but God, that was my favorite car. It was so cool. The thing's been sitting for years, and I started it up and drove it onto the trailer. Look at the interior of that Charger there. Yeah, pretty complete interior. I had just finished doing all the swamp cars and been living in my van for a month and a half out in the middle of the woods. And I was just trying to get home, and this fellow had contacted me. And he had said he had heard I was out there, and I went up to check on his collection. He had just a bunch of cars. Lived out in the trailer, a bunch of cars. Look at that Panther Pink paint underneath the seat. You can't fake that right there. That's the original Panther Pink paint. She was rough, but, you know, the car was definitely savable. Ain't no question about that. And it was super solid. 150 mile an hour gauge, RPM. Sometimes it's tough to see them when they're so rough like this, but you know, it's just rough like this because of the way it's at. Car doesn't look like he was abused at all. Just things have been done to it over the year. Passenger door panel. Look at that bright Panther Pink paint. You just can't deny that. That's a Panther Pink paint right there. All kinds of parts in the trunk. Basically, all the stuff that was missing off the car was in the trunk. You know, if you get a good look at it, even that trunk lip, you know, it's pretty solid. There's a side shot of that car, nice and smooth. That car hasn't been rebonded or anything like that. Even the trunk was good on this car. Super solid. Like I said, this one was in North Carolina. I don't know if it was a North Carolina car all its time, but original numbers matching motor was underneath the hood. Everything was there. Really solid car, really straight car. And it would start up too. I don't know if it would drive or not. I can't remember, but I know it would start up. There's a nice little Barracuda right there. That car was pretty complete too. I remember right, the car was completely untouched. And again, super solid. Really cool car to see when you see them untouched like that. Had kind of a funky paint job on it. You know, the car was complete. There wasn't nothing missing off the car. A little rough, but you know, it is what it is. So when you're out there looking at these cars, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how nice original it is. That thing's still got to come apart. So don't pay high survivor prices for a car that, you know, it's still got to come apart to look any good. So don't waste that extra money. It's just not worth it. So there's pristine survivor, and then there's a car, you know, like this one. That's pristine. Not quite pristine, but all original. Everything's there. But at the end of the day, this thing's still got to come apart. Yeah, you're into it for 50 grand to start. You know, the bucket seat, console car, telescopic steering wheel, all that stuff was right there. Totally untouched. It's actually a pretty good condition car. This car actually did run and drive. But it had been sitting for a long time, so it ran like crap. You know, that's what people don't understand about these cars, is the reason so many of these cars are sitting around is because when they changed over from leaded to unleaded gas, when you put it unleaded gas in one of these old Mopars or any of these old muscle cars, they ran like shit. This ended up taking me to another yard. Again, I was just trying to get home. It'd be nice if I could just get home. That's another 70 Charger right there. You know, that had a few parts stripped off it, but look at that floor pan. That's a pretty solid car. Pretty straight car. That's one of the first things that goes down is that driver's floor pan. Look at the rail, the edging, the door kick, everything. You know, the car was pretty straight. I can't remember. It kind of looked like it was an SE car. Don't even remember. It was so long ago. That was the only problem on the car right there. It looked like it used to be a vinyl top car, and it had some holes. Had some holes in that hood. But, you know, needed some quarters, but the car was complete. It was all there. Some of us would kill for a car like that right now. The hood's a little rough on it, but look at that grill. Good God, look at that grill. Just beautiful. Straight as can be. Even that tail panel. You see that right there? Bumpers are still good on it. Lights are still good on it. But at the end of the day, that thing still needs to come apart. There's no question it needs to come apart. Oh, geez, I don't even remember what I took that picture for. Yep. There's the engines out of that Charger right there. Clean. Still clean the engine compartment. A little rusty and stuff. You know, it's tough to see them like this where it's like, do I save it? Do I don't save it? But when you look underneath the car, look at how solid that car is. Luckily, it was undercoated. There's another 70 Charger sitting in this guy's yard. This was super solid. Super straight. Totally couldn't wait to save this thing. You know, look at it. Sail panel's not too bad. Tail panel, not too bad. It's an old Hoopty Doop car. Straight as can be. I like to take these shots so you can see down the side of it. If I remember right, the interior was pretty complete on this car too. It's crazy just how these cars are just stuffed in these places like this. Look at the floor pans on that car. Like, you know how much money you save by not having to do those floor pans? That was the trunk with the original parts in it. Solid. Stuff full of parts. No motor. No transmission. I don't even think there was a fender tag to that car. So do you save it or do you don't save it? Look at the grill and bumper. Oh my God. I haven't seen those pictures in so long. Well, I appreciate you coming by and checking out our Tales Under the Bush, and stay tuned for more.